1. Start with clean wool. It can either be wet or dry. Some interlock can be machine washed. Other items are best hand washed in the sink. 2. Gather supplies for lanolizing. I'm going to be using these little Lanolin Plus E-Cubes sample packs by Bumby wool, but I also have the solid lanolin from U, and I use a little glass container for mixing up the emulsion, a spoon for scooping the lanolin. 3. Create your lanolin emulsion. I'm going to start by boiling some water and then letting it cool a little bit. Add about half a cup hot but not quite boiling water. Add 1 emulsion cube in. Add the lanolin to the hot water, anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons depending upon how many pairs of woolies and how big they are. And start mixing that in the hot water along with the E-Cube. Then I fish out any excess E-Cube that wasn't used to save that for the next time. 4. Create your lanolin bath. Add approximately 1 cup room temperature, slightly warm water to your container. And then I'm going to pour just a little bit of my emulsion in there. I'm going to be doing the cover separately, so this is just for the first cover. Mix that in. We don't want these clumps of lanolin, how the lanolin got shocked out of the emulsion like that. Perhaps the water was too cold or my emulsion was too hot. We need them to be similar temperatures. So I think I'll pour this down the toilet and try again. If you're having that problem, you may also want to try using distilled water in the bath, as that can help as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any, and I added the E-Cube back in here just to make sure this was emulsified enough. I already added the warm water. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to do the lightest color, least likely to bleed first, and then work down towards the darkest colors, most likely to bleed. With the cover inside out, dip and swish it. We're just trying to get it coated in the lanolin. We're just greasing up our cover here, so there's no need to soak it for hours at a time or soak it overnight. You can kind of squish it a bit. Since this wool started dry, it's kind of repelling the water more, so that might be one benefit, to go straight from washing and then while your wool is still wet, to go straight onto lanolizing. Might make this step a little bit easier. Now that I've got the inside coated, I'm going to flip this so it's right side out. Just massage it a bit to make sure there's not like clumps of lanolin on the outside of this, because that can attract dirt and then make kind of dirty spots. I'm going to squeeze this out and set it aside so I can move on to the next wool piece, but I will come back and use cold water to rinse this later, to rinse out all the emulsion block. Step 6, repeat. This covers cotton on the outside and wool on the inside, so I'm going to put the wool side down into the lanolin bath. That's the side that really needs to get coated in lanolin. It's working having this shallow bit of water on these wrap style covers, but I'm going to definitely add some more water before I do the bigger interlock pieces. I'm going to squeeze out some water and really try to massage this onto the wool. More warm water here, a bit more lanolin emulsion. I am having some clumping here again, so I think next time I should look into getting some distilled water. And sometimes when you just can't get it to emulsify, it's because of your water. On these shorties, I really want to make sure that I'm getting the wet zone. Time to lanolize my Bumby abrazo. This method of lanolizing is what Stephanie at Bumby Wool came up with. So I'm using this on my Bumby wool and all my other wool as well. Down to my final piece to lanolize and just a little bit of the emulsion left, so I'm going to actually put my warm water in there to try to rinse out this glass container. That worked out just perfectly that I'm using it up here right as I'm on my last piece. Now it's time to rinse to make sure we get out all that emulsifying soap. These 3 interlock will go through a rinse and spin in the washing machine, and these more delicate ones I will just hand rinse in the sink. Ones that I rinsed in the sink, I'm going to roll them in a towel to remove extra moisture. Lay them flat on the drying rack to dry. For the interlock pieces that went through the machine for the rinse and spin, I don't bother to roll those in a towel since the machine does a good job of spinning the water out. Now all of these will just need to dry, and by tomorrow I'll be able to put them on my baby. I like to leave the fan on, it helps them dry a little bit faster. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more on natural cloth diapering and elimination communication.